and I am especially excited for our next guest. This is a really exciting moment for me because she and her partner are among the greatest success stories in American business. So do you guys, can you all see, some of you can't, but can you see this bags up here? Can you see, what brand is that? Vera Bradley, yes. The bags are beautiful, but the brains behind the operation are even more impressive. In 1982, Pat Miller and Barbara Bradley each borrowed $250 from their husbands to start this company. And last year, the company went public and had $366 million in revenue. $1 million a day, more than $1 million a day from 1982. Pretty incredible, right? Pretty incredible. So I hope you will give a gigantic welcome as we bring up one of my best and biggest and brightest small business heroes, Barbara Bradley Baekgaard. Come on out.
Wow.
All right.
This is huge.
Isn't it amazing? Amazing.
Yes, this is amazing.
I agree. All right, I told her it was going to be amazing, and I said, you can't really imagine it until you're standing out here and you see all of these faces. Take everybody back, if you will, to 1982 in the Atlanta airport.
All right. Well, this is the dream. It's really amazing to me when I tell this story because I have nephews that graduate from business school. One graduated from Harvard Business School. And they always say, how did you do this? And I guess my answer is, we just did it. We didn't overthink it. We didn't have really even a business plan at first. We just had an idea. We were in the Atlanta airport coming back from visiting my mother and dad. My mother's name is Vera Bradley, she's passed away now. But thus the name. We just decided, okay, we're looking around the airport. We don't see anyone with any really good-looking luggage. We thought there's a need for this. So we went back and started the company the very next day.
Very next day.
Yep, the very next day.
And this wasn't your first business. And we're going to talk all about how you built it, but this wasn't your first business. You had dabbled in some other businesses.
A lot of things.
A lot of other things. And you were actually married to somebody who didn't really want you to work.
Right.
Right. And you had some tricks about that to convince him that you could do it all.
Well, yeah. That was my first husband who... I always think they say the 3 traumas of life are death, divorce, and moving. And I've been through all of them. And I'm not quite sure why moving is up there, but death and divorce I've been through. Yes, my first husband, we had 4 children in 5 years. And I was the classic stay-at-home mom. And I tried to earn a little extra money. I like to hang wallpaper. That's just kind of my passion, just fun. You know, I like decorating. We didn't have the money to decorate the way I wanted to. So I started hanging wallpaper. So I actually started a little business. I was living in Chicago. And I started a business called the Paper Dolls with a friend of mine. And we wore all pink. We had our ladders, we painted them pink, and our brushes pink. We wore pink overalls. We were the Paper Dolls. Now, we were young then. So then, when I moved to Fort Wayne, I wanted to start a company again, and Pat Miller started with her. But I thought we were a little old to be the Paper Dolls. We were in our 40s. So I came up with a name that I thought was perfect. I was going to call our company Well Hung. And my first husband didn't think that was very funny.
So you showed him, though, with the little trick that you would play often at the end of the day so that he would believe you had cooked dinner.
Oh, yeah. I'd come home because when the kids were in school, I'd come home and I'd put a little onion and butter in a pan. And if he walked in and smelled something cooking, he'd kind of thought I'd been home all day, you know, getting ready for him to arrive. But that wasn't so. I was actually out making my own money, pocketing my money. And and it was really funny because he didn't know what he didn't know. But we did remain. We actually ended up, we took a second choice of names since they vetoed Well Hung. We called ourselves Up Your Wall, and that was fun too. So it's kind of like the strippers, you know, you have to have a gimmick. And we had we had a gimmick. We had, you know, we were all girly with the pink brushes, the pink ladders, and it worked. We had a great business going. Yeah.
All right. So you decide we're starting this company.
Yes.
Take us through. You decide we're gonna do this in our basement. We're gonna buy some fabric. We're gonna start sewing pieces. We're gonna start showing off these bags.
Exactly. So I sewed. Pat Miller did not sew, but I knew. I kind of knew that I should not be in the basement sewing. So I knew I should be out selling. So we put an ad in the Fort Wayne newspaper where we live, where Vera Bradley is, and we had 85 responses to women who would sew in their homes. So that's how it started. It actually started as a cottage industry. And of course, my house was bedlam. I had 4 kids. I had sewers coming and going day and night, and then we would inspect the bag. They'd bring in a bag, and then I'd check it over, and if it looked perfect, that was quality control in those days, and then I would give them the money for the bag. Well, it grew very quickly, and pretty soon we decided it was just too much to do out of the home. So we took our 2 best sewers, happened to be a man and his wife, actually, and then we started pyramiding it. So they took care of all the sewers, and I hit the road selling.
From day one, selling.
From day one, yeah.
So you have a couple of very fun anecdotes that I love. The first about getting a bank loan.
Yeah, getting a bank loan. Well, we went into the bank. First of all, our then husband, loaned us $250, and you can kind of tell my age because I've had younger women come up and say, well, they loaned you, wasn't that kind of your money too? And I was like, yeah, come to think of it, I think it was. And the worst thing is we paid them back. I mean, crazy. So anyhow, we decided the $250 didn't go very far. So we went into a bank to borrow $2,500. And we sat down with the banker, and he was kind of grumpy, and he was really serious, and we didn't probably have all the right words that he wanted to hear. So, but he agreed to loan us the money. So we walked outside the bank, and Pat and I looked at each other, and I said, do we really want to do business with him? He was just not very pleasant and certainly not cute. He was just not. So we said, no, let's find another banker. So we actually went and found another banker who remained our banker for probably 20 years. Yeah.
And it's been very important to you to do business with people you like.
Absolutely,
and to identify people who also like you. And in fact, when you went to get fabric one time, you made quite an impression.
Yes,
the fabric company.
I went to New York. We were buying our fabric just like at Joann Fabric or Walmart or wherever. But on the salvage, I'd see where that fabric was made. So I thought, well, there's got to be a better way. We should be buying this fabric wholesale, certainly. So I was on a trip to New York, and I went into one of the companies, and it was VIP in New York in the garment district. And I asked if I could see someone in sales, and they said, well, who are you with? And I said, Vera Bradley. I might add, we did write to these companies before that, but we received no response. So anyway, with my chutzpah, I walked in, and they said, who are you with? Vera Bradley. Oh, come right in. And they gave me a cup of coffee, and I'm sitting there waiting to see the vice president. And he comes in, and within about 5 minutes, he realized I was not the person he thought he was meeting with. He thought he was meeting with the company Vera. I don't know if any of you remember Vera, but it was a huge company. And
the scarves.
Yeah, they made scarves and placemats and all. So he said, who are you with again? I said, Vera Bradley. He said, what is that? I said, well, we just started the company not too long ago. So he said, well, how the hell did you get in here? So I said, well, through that door, here we are. But we became very dear friends, and actually VIP in their training program. I don't know if today they still have it, but for years they had a training session called Remember Vera Bradley, because we were so small, and then of course we ended up being one of their largest customers. Yeah.
Today, fast forward quite a bit, 1,700 employees.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about both how you hire and also how you celebrate those employees.
Yeah, we have a lot of special things. Well, first of all, when we started the company, it was friends and family, because I did not have a business background. So I would ask my friends, girls I went to college with. Luckily, I'm from a big family, and everybody jumped on board. And it's remained that way. I mean, we're still a family. It's huge now, but we still have a lot of family. My one son-in-law is our CEO, Mike Ray. My other son-in-law is president of the board of directors. Luckily, my daughters married left-brainers, because we're all creative in our family, and we needed that in our gene pool. You know, I said, we've got to get some numbers people in this family, because I am not good with numbers. So with that, and then my college roommate, Mary Sloan, who passed away from breast cancer, which is why we have the Vera Bradley Foundation for Breast Cancer. She was one of our first reps. I could name, I mean, most of the reps I have a personal relationship with.
And you do a lot even to celebrate everybody on their birthdays.
Oh yeah,
and
birthdays.
You're as particular, I know, about birthday cards as you are about the catalogs that go out.
We still sign all 1,800 birthday cards, and we put a $50 bill in each one. And it's really fun to see people.
Pretty amazing.
Well, when we first started, it was really even funnier, because I had about 4 women that worked for me, and I said, we put the 50 in cash, because we said, you don't need to tell anyone about this 50. This is yours. And you spend it on yourself. So that became the tradition. And we also have a happy committee. When you were talking about, someone was talking about happiness. We have a happy committee. And we budget for this, and they plan events all through the year. And it can be, I mean, I remember during the Olympics, they had us all wear red, white, and blue, and they had a little party. It's something that they come up with, that they have total control of the money and the planning of.
Just to make your employees happy.
Yeah, just to make everyone happy.
I love that. Something simple that every company can do. You have a lot of core values, and one of them is fussy.
The F word.
The F word.
We are fussy. We are very fussy.
So tell me about that.
Well, I just think that we just want everything to be right. You know, because I sewed and made all the kids' clothes and all when they were growing up, I knew that you wanted the inside of the garment to look right. You wanted the seams to be right. You wanted everything to be perfect. And that's one of the pride factors that we have with Vera Bradley. So we're fussy about everything. We're fussy about the people that we work with, who we hire. We don't hire people and then say, be nice. We hire nice people. And I had an incident happen. It was very interesting. One time, one of the nurses from a local hospital called me. And I didn't know her. She didn't know me, but she called the company and asked to speak to the president. And she said, we just had an incident here. A woman came in for a mammogram, and she was so rude, and she said, this is the first time we've ever had anyone from Vera Bradley come in and not be just the nicest person I ever met. She's no longer with us, but we knew this. It was really funny. I knew she didn't fit into the organization.
Into the culture.
That's what we take pride in that, yeah.
So you have this reputation of being exceptionally nice and fussy, but I know you can also infuse that with a lot of humor and even the ability to be tough as nails. And I know that you had one customer, a gentleman, who didn't think that he owed you money and didn't want to pay up.
Okay. Did I lose my, what made me laugh? Yeah, I had a couple incidences like that, but there was one that was a timing. Well, this was before we had a HR. You know, we could say anything, do anything. Now, now I have two things against me. We have a huge HR department and we're a public company, so now I have to kind of watch what I say. But there was one gentleman that owed us money, and in those days you faxed. They didn't even have texting back then. And he said, I don't owe you whatever, $100. And even if I did, I doubt if Vera Bradley would drop dead over $100. Well, it happened, that was the week my mother died. And so we couldn't help ourselves. So we put her obituary on the fan, and then we just sent just two sentences. You do, and she did.
Yep.
So that was just an amazing, that was perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Perfect
Yeah,
timing.
perfect timing.
And we love things like that.
Absolutely. And speaking of your mom, when you told her that you were going to name the company after her, it wasn't an initial, great, let's do it.
No.
She had some questions for you.
Yeah, she wanted to know, well, what are you going to make and what is it going to look like? She wasn't just going to lend her name to anything. But then she became our rep. She hit the road like all my friends and sisters and everyone did. And she died, she was 82, she was in an automobile accident, but she was selling right up till the very day that she died, yeah.
And speaking of selling, your dad's given you some very, very, very good advice that you share everywhere you go about selling.
Yeah, and those are words to live. I was very fortunate. Both of my parents were just amazing. I'm one of 6 children, and they really. I have a brother who's a musician. I have, I'm probably the most business-minded one, although I don't know if I'm business-minded, more creative-minded. And so all of us are quite different. But my father always said, you sell yourself first, your business second, your company second, and your product third. And I was saying this morning with the group, because really you want to do business with people that you want to be friends with and do business with. And then the company has to back you up. It has to be a good company. But if you think of that, that's the people you hire, too. You hire people you want to be with.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's very foremost. When people come to Vera Bradley to interview,
Whoops.
I'm having trouble with this. It's amazing because they go through so many, they meet everyone. And I even always go out and ask like one of the gals that's in the office, just what did you think of that person? Because they're going to be nice to me, but we want to make sure they're the kind of people that treat everyone well. Yeah, yeah.
There are a lot of dreams in this room, a lot of goals, a lot of big ideas. In our final couple of minutes, what would your bit of wisdom and advice be to everybody who is trying to pursue a goal right now, trying to pursue a dream, has something that she's going after?
Yeah. Well, I would, it's probably, you hear it all the time, is just do it. Don't overthink it. I mean, if you have an idea, I cannot tell you how many women come up to me and say, well, I made my daughter's luggage when they went off to college. But yeah, okay, and, Or in our case, maybe we might have gone to a smaller, like, say, Junior League Day or something. But we went right to the Chicago gift show. I think we thought on the big scale. I knew that if I was going to do this, I wanted it to be big. I never dreamed it would be this big, I have to say, but certainly taking all the steps and not having anyone tell you what you can't do. We didn't have many people tell us what we couldn't do. I mean, we just kept doing it, just kept going forward and hiring the right people. Know what you don't know. If you do something well, like in my case, I knew I should be out selling. And I knew I shouldn't be the numbers person, and I shouldn't keep sewing. So find out what your strength is, and then you go out and do that, and then find other people to fill in the gaps. To this day, really, as far as finance, that's one of the easiest things to turn. So, you can fill that niche pretty quickly. And we went to SCORE, Service Corps of Retired Executives, and we get a lot of help from them. We kept asking. I think as women, it's really neat because you can ask all these questions, and all the men really want to help you. They want to give you all the answers. And
maybe not the money, but the answers, the advice.
And even to this day, we have the consultants come in, and usually the consultants are men, and of course it's a very female company. And I think pretty soon they'll come around to thinking that we really had a good idea.
You know what you're doing.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
We refer to them as the chicks and the dicks.
There you go. So I don't know if you remember this, but we actually, Barbara and I met several months ago when I invited her, begged her actually, to come and speak to an event that I was hosting. And you gave me a great little coin purse, phone holder, and I keep this in my purse. Do any of you have something that you keep in your purse all the time? It's like your little good luck charm. It's your little something that you just know is in your bag. You know it's there with you. Do you guys have those things? You know what I'm talking about? You have those things, okay. So this little Vera Bradley pouch has been that for me. And this little pouch is my piece of you that I carry everywhere I go.
Thank you.
When I have a big meeting, or when I have something important that's happening and I'm rifling through my purse to find something, this pattern it pops out at me. And I remember the words that you would say. I remember you saying, like, just do it, just forge ahead, just go make it happen. I think about turning $250 into $366 million. And so what I'm excited to tell all of you is that Barbara brought a little piece of Vera Bradley for everybody here. So our good friends at Aramark are coming out. You see them there. They're coming out, and they've got a little Vera Bradley for all of you.